Hello, world. This is TJ Morris, and you're listening to ET Radio. Okay. Hi, everyone. We'll try this again. This is TJ Morris, ET Radio, with American Communications Online here in the United States of America. So welcome aboard, all you ground troops spinning around smartly on the planet, the blue marble, traveling through our solar system at a zero level, as I guess Michio Kaku might say. And we're going to be talking about some great things here. Level 1 is when you can get out there and travel in the galaxy, and from level 2, from what I understand, is going from one galaxy to another, and level 3, universe to universe, I guess, or maybe it's dimension to dimension, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But tonight I've asked Tommy Hawksblood Sinisi. He was born Thomas Anthony Sinisi in New Jersey, and he's been with me since 2012. We actually met here as friends on the radio to do Stargate to the Cosmos, and we have some differences of opinion over who came up with the name, because Robert O'Dean, Bob Dean, one of the great famous ufologists, researchers, prior military, a veteran, actually put up the $500 with Janet Lessin, which she did return that back, and I made sure that she showed the receipt and all that, because we decided not to do that at the time because he got rather ill, and I believe he's passed now. But Tommy and Janet met in Hawaii and brought us together for the Stargate to the Cosmos, which we were going to have back in 2012 and October. But Janet finally had one 2018, and Tommy and I were not able to attend, but we may be putting something together in the future. If not 2019, it'll be 2020. So we're still going to try to do our ACO Club and meet everybody and share things. And my daughter's passed, so many of you know that already. So I thought it'd be a good thing to ask him to bring Namgyal, who is a Buddhist, with him, because I'm hoping we get this book done after my daughter died this year. If we don't get an event where we can meet, at least we can do a e-book and publish a book in her honor. And this is going to be mainly about Tommy, because I want to know a lot more about him. He has a birth certificate like I do, and you may want to go on YouTube and look up TJ Morris, and I'm talking to Allied Command Organization, but Tommy here has a name, Hawksblood. A lot of people know him as Tommy Hawksblood, and he wrote several books, How to See God, and he's working on one for How to See UFOs, for a manual for our group in Hawaii. And he was very interested in UFOs growing up, and he was a speaker at the Prophet conferences, and he got to know Janet, and I'll let him tell you about how we all got started here, because we're coming on our 7th year in June, and Namgyal's always been there. And I never got to talk to her except here on a couple of times on the radio for a short period of time. So she does have a history here, but we never got into full detail. So finally, 7 years, almost to June 2019. So 2012 from 2019 will definitely be 7 years. But this is exciting for me because Tommy and I were due writing a book, and we're both universal life ministers and metaphysicians, and Namgyal Lord, but she goes by Namgyal Lhamo, and it's Namgyal from what I'm told, and Lhamo, Lhamo, and it's quite different than I'm even accustomed to looking at. And I wanted to say Namgyal with an H, but Tommy says it's a Y. So we're going to let Tommy introduce himself to everybody that's not familiar with him. Many of you know from the beginning with TJ Morris, ET Radio, and TJ Morris Media News Publishing Agency, and our ACO Social Club. And my company in Gulf Breeze, Florida, is now called American Communications Online. So without further ado, I'm going to plug Tommy in, and then he will, after that, plug Namgyal in. But let's let him introduce himself and then she. All right. Woo. You're on, but there's a big thrill there. Hi.
Great.
Tommy.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me
Yeah,
okay
that was
now?
just a quick shrill. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Introduce
my
yourself.
My name is Thomas Hawksblood. I'm on the Big Island of Hawaii. I came out here about 20 years ago, and I met my partner, and we've been together the whole time. It's a spiritual quest, spiritual journey. She's a Buddhist, and I call myself a realist. I'm lucky in a lot of ways, and I have a lot of problems in a lot of ways. My thing started when I was 6. I was on search of truth, always, and dealing with many different things along the way. I'm not going to get into all that. Anybody wants to know all that, I got 2 books out. I'll send either one of them if they want it. Just send an email to my email address, How to See God and When Truth is Called Crazy. One's my autobiography, explains everything I went to get to where I'm at now. I mean, it's been up and down, good, bad, and worse. So I don't want to go into that now. If you want to hear all that, I did a show on it 2 weeks ago, two shows ago. You can pull it up. I get into the real hardcore part of it. But I want to get into more like where we want to go today is about soul, spirit, consciousness, how people relate to that, and how we're going to live life from that awareness that we attain from that, and what we create in the life that we create now, how it affects our future life, which Namgyal will get into because her teachings are all about that, and I'll let her go into detail when she starts talking about that. For me personally, I've been on my own quest. I studied 14 religions, studied in the physical world, the dimensional worlds, masters, teachers, shamans, medicine people, deities. I don't say I work with angels because angels aren't really teachers. They actually bring you places and show you things and tell you things that are going to happen. So my view of everything is based on what I actually experienced. So it's my personal awareness that I attained in this lifetime, and I did become aware of all my lifetimes back to Atlantis and even past Atlantis. So I'm a rebel because I stand by what I experienced because I know it's true for me, and I know it's true for what I went through. So people have to learn how to get their own experiences, and Buddhism is one incredible way to get into that. I was in a path called Ekankar. It's an important way to go. But the foundation of the physical world always tries to make somebody important in it, and then it's like you have to be under them. Spiritual quest is an individual path back to its true source. That's the way I'll describe it. So what I want to do is I'm going to introduce Namgyal because she has a lot to talk about in what she experienced, what she went through in her life to get her to where she is. But she's an aware person, aware of the teachings in a great way. So nobody else that I know could explain it better. So that's why TJ wanted me to bring somebody on, and I think she's the right person to talk about it because I've been involved with deities and all those words. But for me to try to go into that, I can only go into my direct experiences, not what Buddhism does and how other people relate to that, how it's spread around the world and those kind of things. I'm into an individual path back to God. That's my life. I'm not saying it's everybody. Everybody likes to be involved with the world, saving the planet, saving people. But I use this word, Earth is hell. It doesn't get worse than here. It only gets better if you get away from here. So when they created the word hell, it was men because they were egotistical and they were stuck and they didn't want to be in the same place, so they created a hell somewhere else. But this is the only place you as a person, soul or consciousness, can experience pain, suffering, see it constantly, be dealing with it at a one-to-one level, and it's affecting you at every aspect of the way. So when you let go of the physical body, obviously the physical body is one thing, and your next body, soul, spirit, consciousness, different people look at it different ways, cannot experience pain the same way the physical body does, and it doesn't. And I can only say, as you move closer to what you are searching for, it only gets better. So I'm going to bring her on. And TJ, if you have questions and you really want to get into it, just ask them because I know you got a few questions that you're going to ask. But
yeah,
who knows it better?
I want to start with her name.
Her.
Yeah,
All right.
I've got a few
I'll
here.
let her talk for that. All right, I'll let her say her name and tell you.
Thank you.
Just hold hold it.
Oh, I have to hold it. Hey, aloha. Hi, TJ.
Hi, Namgyal. Please tell me how to spell your name and how you got that name. And then I know you're in Hawaii, but you can just sort of introduce yourself like Tommy does. You've heard us for 7 years now. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll go into all the studies. And you can help me with my daughter passing, hopefully make me feel better. But go ahead, Namgyal. Tell us how to spell your name and how you got that.
Certainly, yes. My Lama in Maui gave me this name, Namgyal, Namgyal, which means victorious one, generally, but it has a lot of other deep meanings, as many things in Buddhism do, but just generally, it means victorious one, and Lhamo actually denotes that it is a female. So,
okay, great.
So that was my refuge name. When you take refuge in to Tibetan Buddhism, I think so. Probably with all Buddhist faiths, yeah, they clip a piece of your hair and they give you a refuge name. At which time you promise that you will that. It's essentially your bodhisattva vows that you will they'll come back be for the sake of all sentient beings, and that becomes your focus.
Nice. Well, I talked to a Buddhist once in Washington, D.C. at the Buddhist, and he explained to me we all had a name, and I didn't get that far, but I just told him I was very curious and interested in all that. So I'm so glad to have you come on and sort of enlighten us, if you don't mind, for all those that aren't Buddhist. I think Tommy and I were born mainland and Christians, but, that even changes because we're both universal life now. We study all world religions, and I love the people that I've met that are Buddhists. They've always been so kind to me, and so, this is a place we share, and I want to believe that we're all reincarnates, and I have past lives like Tommy does. But you want to talk to us about how were you born in America, and how did you become a Buddhist? I know you're in Hawaii, right, the Big Island.
Right.
But how did you?
Well, yeah.
How did you swap over, and then we'll get into how you met.
I think
your Lama.
I was born in the Midwest, and then I always was very, extremely spiritual. However, there wasn't, as you know, being from that part of the world, there's not much offered, a little Catholicism and maybe the Bible Baptist Church in the back. But nevertheless, there was always a deep-seated spiritual feeling ever since I can remember, even as a small child. So, but I didn't have a way of channeling it. I felt out of place, but nevertheless, all I had available to me was Christianity, and so I hung with Bible Baptist Church for maybe 10 or 15 years, and then I studied Catholicism for a while, and then as we got older, and I think some of the 70s and 80s started blossoming a bit more. Rajneesh was moving here, and Richard Albert had published Be Here Now, I think, by that time, and some of the Eastern modalities were starting to raise their heads over here, and so I took notice, and I felt, always very drawn to those modalities of practice, and so and then when I came to Hawaii, Tibetan Buddhism found me, and
okay, nice.
Yeah. Kind of a magical story, but it's a little far-fetched at the same